Fine. Hakadosh Boker Or Masechet Gittin Daf Gimel Amud Aleph 3a says the Gemara. We just finished by mentioning that really be'emet the majority of the Jews are bekim in lishma. They're experts in lishma, and even according to Rabbi that he suspects the minority, the majority of the stam sofrim they also know in lishma. So really, you don't have to worry about the concept of lishma. But the rabbis were obligating us to say lishma. Why? Because maybe he found it in the dustbin. Maybe he found it somewhere, and now he's going to come and use it. So therefore, they have to make sure that it was done lishma. But so why don't you need two? The rabbis were lenient because of iguna. We don't want a woman to become an aguna for the rest of her life. We don't want her to be stranded. We purposely didn't want her to be stranded for the rest of her life. So we were lenient with one witness. Says the Gemara, are you telling me that this is a leniency? That they said that it's enough one witness? It's a stringency. Many times remember that leniencies come to stringency. So the person always has to be very, very careful when he's lenient. He says, is this a leniency? It's a stringency. Why? Because if you're going to tell me now that you need two witnesses to verify that the get was kasher, that was done lishma, the husband will never be able to come and to disqualify the get. Because if he comes to disqualify the get, he won't be believed because there was already two witnesses that came and testified and validated the get. But chad, if you're only going to tell me that it's going to be, you're going to be lenient, that only one witness is enough, this husband, sometimes the husbands, they could be a jerk, right? What does that mean? They come and they want to go against her. So what do? They write her the get. Then all of a sudden, she comes, she gets married, right? She becomes pregnant, right? Within the, whatever, even after a few months. Half a year later, the husband comes and he says, 1 second, this is my wife. What are you guys doing? So what are you talking about? Here's a get. Hey, it's false. Now, 1 second, you didn't have two witnesses to validate the get. You were lenient that one witness was enough. But the husband just destroyed the get because he's believed against one witness. If it was two witnesses, he wouldn't have been believed. But if it's only one witness, he could destroy the get. So what are you telling me, that this is a leniency because of an aguna? You destroyed her because you just set her up that if the husband comes and says that the get was disqualified, now she's messed up because now she has to get divorced from the second husband. She doesn't get anything. The child will become a mazer. You know what it is? He just destroyed her life.
We need one or two?
No, 1 second, one. But that's the question. The question is one. But the question is why? So the Gemara answers, since Moore says, how many edim does the shaliach have to come and say one of them says in front of two witnesses. One of them says in front of three witnesses. But according to everybody, the mesirat get, meaning the giving over of the get, has to be done in front of two witnesses or three witnesses. So meikara meidak tayek, lechatchila the shaliach is going to be medaktek when he's receiving it from the husband, that he's not going to bring the get unless he knows for sure that the husband really wants the divorce. That lo ati liru nafshe, and he's not going to come, right, and make himself bad, which means like this. Basically, since the shaliach then has to come and give it over in front of two witnesses or three witnesses, and he has to testify that it was done, that everything was good, he's not going to mess himself up. Meaning this shaliach, if he's not certain that the husband wanted to divorce her, he's not going to put himself on the line because afterwards his name is destroyed. So imagine right now, I'm going to come. He doesn't want to mess up his name. Why does he want to mess up his name? It just doesn't make sense. Which one? The ed can never get married to the woman. That's one of the halachot. The first halachot in Gittin, the ed himself can never get married to the woman, because if not, we think that it's a trampa. He's doing a trick. In order to get married to the woman, he brings a get. Yeah, the husband's divorced, and now he gets married to her. So it's prohibited. Okay? Nikuda. So we just finished. Okay, that's the first part, which is basically to do with Rabbi, to do with Bekiyut, right? Being keen. We need to be experts of Lishma. Second part now. Now we're going to understand the Shita of Rabba. According to Rabba, he says, so ask the Gemara 1 second. We said in our Mishnah, right, there was enough one witness. And that's why when David asked, what's halacha l'maaseh? You had a Mishnah. The Mishnah says one witness comes and says, so if you have one witness, why? According to Rabba, it was because of Bekiyut, and then we went into the Pilpul. Why? Back, forth. Okay. According to Rabba with an Aleph, right? Or the, Ashkenazim, they do Rabba and Rabo, right? They do the A and O. So he comes and he says, the Fishena did mitzuyin lekaimo, because there's no witnesses to be mekayem, right? The get. Okay? So he comes and he says, so therefore, why don't you need two witnesses? If you're going to tell me because you need to validate the get, you have the two witnesses that they're kosher witnesses, So why don't you just say you have to bring 2 witnesses? Just like any kiyum shtarot, which means that whenever you want to come and you want to validate witnesses, by validate a document, you always need 2 witnesses. So same thing, you're coming, you're validating this get, you require 2 witnesses. Answers the Gemara, the same answers we mentioned before. 1 witness is going to be believed in Isirin. So ask the Gemara the exact same that we said before. When do we say when you have a piece of meat? I have a doubt whether it's going to be prohibited fats or permitted fats. That it's not going to be a chazakah, that there's going to be isur. But over here, it's chazik isura deshetish. I have a vadai isur of an deshetish of a married woman. So it's going to be considered a woman which is immoral, which means that it's immorality. Anything to do with erva, and there's a general rule, davar sheberva and davar sheberva, pachum mishnayim, you always need minimum 2. Meaning, even though this is isur to do with if somebody's going to have an isur of living with a married woman, it's considered davar sheberva. And at davar sheberva, you need 2 witnesses. Right? But and davar sheberva, pachum mishnayim. So answers the Gemara, bedinu, really be'memi karadin, tevikiyum shtarot nami lo libaye. Really be'emet, even by kiyum shtarot, you also don't need 2 witnesses. Keder shakish, like keder shakish. Tamar shakish b'sez shakish, edim chatumim al shtar. Right? When you have witnesses that are going to be signed on a document, it's as if that they say that they went and they checked into it from the bedin. Right? And the rabbis are the ones that say that you need 2 witnesses. Right? That means basically like this. One more time. When you come and you have 2 witnesses signed on a document, it was kilu that they already went and they did the rishava chakirah. You investigated them, interrogated them. It's as if that they already. So technically speaking, you don't need 2 witnesses to come and to validate the document. The rabbis were the ones that said that you always needed 2 witnesses, right? Over here, mishum iguna kilu barabana. Because of iguna, the rabbis were lenient. So the Gemara is going to ask the exact same question. Hi, kula, who are you going to tell me there's a leniency? Chumra, it's a stringency. But if you're going to tell me that you needed 2 witnesses, so then the husband wouldn't come and he wouldn't disqualify the get. But now that you just tell me that it's going to be enough with 1 witness, the husband will come and he'll disqualify it. So answers the Gemara, Kevin Damar more, since more says later on the family bet, if they come and not to know how much you have to give it in front of her, which means that remember, when you're giving over the get, Rabbi Yochanan B'Chanina, one of them says it has to be in front of 2 witnesses, one of them says it has to be in front of 3 witnesses. From the beginning, the shaliach is going to be very certain that the husband wants to divorce, and he's not going to come and he's not going to make himself look bad. Meaning the witness that's coming and delivering the get, he's not going to make himself look like a fool that he brought a get and afterwards it will go like a whole game. Because if not, he ruins his name for the forever in the bedin. Okay? Nekuda. Now we're going to try to find out the machloket between Rava and Rabba. Remember, they both had the exact same shakla v'tarya, meaning the back and forth in the Gemara about why do you need 1 witness, it should be 2 witnesses, that we're lenient, but it's not a leniency, it's a stringency, and then we answer, and then everything was this exact same thing. It's mamash, just plug and play, yeah? But here, we're going to try and understand the reasoning. The Rava, that he says that the entire reasoning was because of witnesses, that we have to validate the witnesses. Why doesn't he say like Rava to do with the Ki'im? He's going to tell you, where does it say the word lishma in the Mishnah? It just says in front of me was written, signed and written. It doesn't say anything to do with it was done lishma. So the fact that if you're going to tell me that the entire purpose is because of lishma, the main word is lacking. They should have come and testified. It was written in front of me lishma. It was signed in front of me lishma. They don't say that. So if they're not saying that, it's not because of lishma. The Rabba, according to Rabba, how do you answer that up then? It's a very good question. So he says, "Bedinu delitinachi." Really, be'emet, they should have said lishma. Ela di mipasht ledibura atel migzeh. If you're going to tell them to start saying so many words, they're going to come and they're going to cut it off. But then he's going to say b'fanai nichtav. And basically, anytime that you're going to change from the matbe'av that to do b'chachamim, it's going to be pasul. So instead of them coming and saying b'fanai nichtav lishma, it would have been too long. So they just have to say b'fanai nichtav, and that's the translation of it. That's the meaning, that it was done lishma. Okay? So says the Gemara, Hashtanami atul migzeh. 1 second. If you're going to tell me that the entire suspicion is that they're going to cut off 1 word, also now they're going to cut off 1 word. You said right? They could also cut off 1 word, and cutting off 1 word, Kaddish. You're done. So says the Gemara, right? Chada mitlat, guys. Chada mitatelu, guys. 1 out of 3 words, you could cut off. 1 out of 2 words, you don't cut off. Meaning, if you would have said b'fanai nichtav lishma, you probably could have cut off whether it's the b'fanai, whether it's the you could have cut off something. But if you're only going to say 2 words, you don't cut it off. Right? That's the way that the svara is. Okay? Fine. So the question is, okay, but now we understood at least why Rava doesn't hold like Rava, because he just says, it's missing the lishma. And Rava had to answer up, no, it's there, but you would have cut it off, so therefore you don't say it. But Rava, why doesn't he say like Rava? He says, Amalechai is going to tell you, if so, nitni, we should have just learned, befanai nichtam, betulo. Just say it was in front of us, it was signed in front of us. And that's it. Because you don't have to, right, at the end of the day, you're only testifying that the signatures, according to Rava, everything's in the signature. So if everything's in the signature, what do I care about the writing? Just tell me, befanai nichtam, in front of me was signed, and therefore I validated the get. And I don't need to write befanai nichtav. Befanai nichtav, lamali. Why do I need befanai nichtav? Shema minabem need l'shma. So you see that you need l'shma. The Rava, and according to Rava, right, he comes and he says, bedinu really be'emet, delitzniachi, really be'emet, it should have been written only befanai nichtam. Eladim kemer, if so, ati lechluf ve'b'kiyum shtarot de'alma be'ed echad. I would have come and I would have gotten mixed up with kiyum shtarot de'alma that it's enough one ed. Meaning like this, if I would have only said befanai nichtam, and you're one witness, I come into betin, befanai nichtam. What's going to happen? The next document that comes to betin, it's not a get. And all of a sudden somebody's going to come and he's going to say befanai nichtam. And it's only one person. And you would say, okay, he's believed. Just like the other one was. No. But that was a get. A get is different than, because of bishum eguna kilu v'ramanan. So in order not to differentiate between kiyum shtarot, we had to say also befanai nichtam. Because if not, we're going to, 1 second. Chatima only needs one witness to verify. Not true. That's a get. That's why you also have to say befanai nichtav. And a document, nobody has to say befanai nichtav. You just have to verify the signatures. Okay? So says the Gemara, Rabbi, and according to Rabbi, midami, can you compare both cases? Hatam yadinan, right? Over there, to do with the chatumim and everything on the shtarot and everything, we know the chatimotehem shtarot from other documents which are coming. He says here, befanai nichtam, here we're talking about he has to actually see the chatimah. The hatam over there also, isha lo mehemna, hacha isha mehemna, right? The hatam over there also, al davar lo mehemna, hacha bal davar mehemna, which means like this. Rabbi is going to come and he's going to ask 3 different questions to show you that it's different, kiyum shtarot, and what we just mentioned now, gittin, which means, what did you just answer? One more time. According to Rabbi, you need lekayim et shtar. How are you mekayim the shtar? The signatures. You should just say befanai nichtam. Says, no. If you only say befanai nichtam, it's a problem. Why? I'm going to start validating other documents, right, with this as well. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Rabba comes and he says, I don't understand you. He says there are 3 differences between other documents and gittin. Other documents, all you have to say is, I take another document, I look at the signatures, same signatures, it's already enough. I could take your signatures from somewhere else. Here, he has to come and say, no. It was signed in front of me. It's a big difference. Yeah? Number 2, a woman is never believed on any documents. Here, a woman is going to be believed. Number 3, right? Also, a baldavar is never believed. Meaning, a baldavar is a person of, which one?
She's going to be believed in.
If another woman also would come, right? If a woman brought the get, she's also believed to say befanai nichtam. If a woman brings a get, she's also believed. Right? So therefore, you have all these things. There are 3 things.
As an ed.
Right? As an ed. Kilu that she's believed. This woman is believed. And the baldavar is never believed. Meaning, a person can never come and testify about himself. Here, the woman that brings herself, right, a get, b'torat shlichut, right? So she says she's also believed. Meaning, the person themselves that the document is speaking about is believed. That's never believed in a document. You can't bring a document and say, you're not believed. The document's about you.
Victim.
Right? Exactly. She's victim. So how could it be that she's believed? So because of these 3 different halachot, he says, you see from here that a woman is going to be believed. So says the Gemara, therefore it's not compared to kiyum shtarot. What are you referring to? Rava is going to tell you, atu hacha kiyamne yadina milo memne. If they would come and they would say that we know, right? We know this, the document and everything. They're not going to be believed. Since if they're going to say yadina, they're going to be believed. So then it's going to come out that they're going to compare it to they're doing the kiyum shtarot, right, with one witness. Okay? Fine. Next. Rabba damar. Rabba, that he's going to say lefishem bekil lishma, that they're not going to be bekil lishma. Mana hitana debai ktiva. Who's the tana that holds the unique ktiva lishma? Right? Ubayin, you also need, right? Chatima lishma. Gimel amubet, 3b. Who's the Tana that holds that you need ketiva lishma and chatima lishma, which means you need to be written lishma and also sign lishma. So says if it's going to be Rabbi Meir, that he says that the ikar of the shtar is the signing chatima by ketiva lo by. You only need the signing of the get lishma, not the writing of it. The Tanah was learned on Mishnah later on in the Kaf Aleph Amud Bet. En kotvim mechubal lekaka. You don't have to write a get on something which is attached to the ground. Ketavon mechubal lekaka. If you wrote it on something which is attached to the ground, and then you detached it to lasho vechatamun tanola, but then you signed and you gave it to her, it's going to be kasher. So you see from here that according to Rabbi Meir, because it says vekatav lasav ketuv nadam yada, which means that you see according to this that according to Rabbi Meir, this get which was detached after the writing, but it was signed when it was kosher, it's still going to be kosher. Because he says that the katav means on the khatam, meaning that the writing of it is not the writing of it, the signing of it. Meaning you wrote it when it's going to be pasul. It was attached to the ground. You wrote it and it's going to be pasul. You detached it and now you signed it. That which you signed it when it was already detached, it's kosher. Why? Because Rabbi Meir learns when it says the katav la sefer kitut, you have to write for her sefer kitut. The ketiva is the khatimah. It's a signing. It's not the writing. So according to Rabbi Meir, you don't need ketiva lishma, you only need chatima lishma. Rabbi Lazar, if it's going to be Rabbi Lazar, ketiva by chatima nuba, you only need ketiva lishma. You don't need chatima lishma. Because basically, what are we saying over here? We're saying here, v'fanai nichtav, v'fanai nichtav, meaning you need ketiva lishma and chatima lishma. Who holds that? According to Rabbi Meir, you need chatima lishma. You don't need ketiva lishma. And according to Rabbi Lazar, you need ketiva lishma. You don't need chatima lishma. But nobody holds you need both. So what's going on? V'chitema. Right? If you're going to tell me now, Leolam Rabbi Lazar, it's really Rabbi Lazar. When does Rabbi Lazar say you need Chatima Lishma? Midoraita, Midrabanan Bae, but according to the rabbis, you do need Chatima Lishma. Vashlosha Gittin Psulim Drabanan. There are going to be 3 different Gittin which are going to be Pasulim Drabanan. Okay? Velo Bae Rabbi Lazar Chatima Lishma. And Rabbi Lazar never said that you need a Chatima Lishma even Drabanan. Which means, maybe I'm going to say, you know what, 1 second. According to Rabbi Lazar, there's the Rabbanan and Doraita. It's not true. Because Rabbi Lazar is not posel, even if something was signed, lo lishma. He doesn't care about the same signature. He only cares about the writing. He doesn't care about anything. So the question is, if you're going to tell me it's Rabbi Lazar only needs ketiva lishma, no chatima lishma, maybe you're going to tell me that's only Doraita, not Rabbanan. It's not true. Because there were 3 Gittin which are psulim Rabbanan, and none of these were brought down. Meaning the one that only has, that does not have chatima lishma, is not brought down as a get pasul. So says the Tanan, how do we know this? Because it says shlosha gittin psulin. There are going to be 3 gittin psulin. Ve'im niset, and if she gets married, havlad kasher. But the blood is still going to be kasher. Why is the blood kosher? The child is still kosher because midoraita, she was divorced. These are only psulim d'Rabbanan. It doesn't say I get batel. When you're going to learn gittin throughout the entire Masechet, when it says batel, it means that the get was annulled. When it says pasul, it means it's pasul d'Rabbanan. One of the differences is going to be is that if she already got married with this get, the child will still be kosher. Meaning, lechatchila, she can't get married with this get, obviously. But if she did get married with this get, so then the child is still going to be kosher. Number 1 is going to be katav bichtav yado ve'en alav edim. What happens if he himself, the husband, wrote the get and there's no witnesses, but it's in the handwriting of the husband? Or case number 2, yesh alav edim, there's witnesses, ve'en bo zman, but it's not written the date. Meaning, there's not written the date. Now, why? Because there's going to be a problem. Number 3, right? It's written through the sofer and it has a date, but it only has 1 ed. It only has 1 witness. These are going to be 3 gittin which are psulim d'Rabbanan and kosher midoraita, because obviously that means basically if it does not have a zman, it's still kosher midoraita. If it's going to be with the handwriting of the husband, still kosher midoraita. Right? Said, but if she gets married, the blood kasher, the blood is going to be kosher. Rabbi Lazar says, even if there's no edim at all, but it was given to her in front of edim, it's still going to be kasher. So you see from here that according to Shtat Rabbi Lazar, I don't care about the chatimot at all. I don't care about signatures. I don't care about, even if there's no signatures at all. And it was just given in front of witnesses, it's already going to be enough. And she's going to collect from properties which have a lien on it. The only reason why a woman why there's witnesses signed on a get is only because of tikkun ha'olam. Is only because of the concept of that what's going to happen because of the collecting from certain things. That's the only reason why you're doing it. So here it actually says it. It says the witnesses which are going to be signing on a get is not minadin, because the document is still going to be kosher even if without witnesses. The only reason why they're doing it is that maybe right now he's going to buy something, right? And all of a sudden the demisida are going to die, And then without witnesses, there's no raya that they accepted the document. And now that you have two witnesses that are going to be chatumim on a get, so now he has a proof that they actually accepted the document. So according to that, Rabbi Lazar is going to be saying that it's going to be kosher, even the Rabbanan, a get that comes without witnesses at all, because it's for sure not pasul, right? The fact that he's got the witnesses, right? But even if it's not going to be lishma, he doesn't care. Meaning the only reason why you need chatima lishma is nothing to do with lishma. The only reason why you need chatimot at all, right, signatures on the get, is just because tikkun olam. Because imagine right now I'm going to come and I'm going to start collecting from properties. They're going to say, was it given over or not given over? When was it given over? How was it given over? What's good? And I'm going to say, no, I have a lien and I came before you. Give me back the properties and things like that. The Gemara is going to answer another answer. So now it cannot be then Rabbi Lazar then. So who's the one that needs ketiva lishma and chatima lishma? Answer is the Gemara v'el Rabbi Meir. He has to be Rabbi Meir. When does Rabbi Meir say you don't need ketiva lishma doraita? You still need ketiva lishma. Rav Nachman says, even if you found it in the garbage, and he signed it and he gave it to her, it's going to be kasher. Why? Because according to him, you don't need ketiva lishma. But our Mishnah is talking about midoraita. If so, right? So if so, if you're going to tell me right now, he would have said that midoraita you need it, right? Midoraita you need it. But rather, he comes and he says that it's actually better to say that they're not going to come and not going to say that it's going to be done lechatchila. So therefore, Nachman didn't explain his words like that. So for obviously, he says that this get is kasher lechatchila, and there's no psul, right? Not even midrabanan. So therefore, it can be Rabbi Meir as well. But again, obviously, we'll explain this B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.